Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Nile Gerry Tea Podcast, a podcast where we spill the tea about magic. I am your host, Nile Joan Riffers. Join with me, as always, my good friend Jer Bear, Gerry Tea. How you doing, Jerry?
I'm alive. I just woke up from a nap.
It is.
Everything is great.
It is late for old Jer Bear, because I got home late. And there's a 3-hour time difference between the two of us. We're on opposite coasts. I am a working gal. I do be working, as you can tell by this hammer.
Oh, for real. Shit. Oh, well, you should have brought that with you this weekend.
Oh, I should have.
Just set it on the table.
I should bring it to every magic event. I think
you should.
Judge?
I think you should.
Am I allowed to?
Carrying my hammer. It's my lucky hammer.
For audio listeners, I held up a hammer, which you've probably already deduced by all the other things that have been said, but now you know for sure.
When you're looking for a top deck, you say, "Come on, top deck," and you pound the top deck.
I tap it with the hammer. Tap, tap.
Just give it a little bonk.
I go against someone who's brought a sickle, and I go, "We're meant to be."
Oh no!
But the weekend event that Jerry is alluding to. So at the time of this recording, Edge of Eternity's pre-release was this past weekend. Now, here's the thing you got to know about me and pre-release. It's my favorite Magic event by a mile. I fucking love pre-release events. Particularly, I love 2-Headed Giant pre-release, which I did not get to do this time around because I had to go to a baby shower, but whatever. I got to go to 2 pre-releases.
So busy.
I know. The reason I love pre-release so much is because I love new players, and it's like the best place to interface with new players. Even though the format of the event is honestly kind of abysmal for new players, but like that's neither here nor there. That's
why is it still like best of 3 sideboarding?
Yeah, best of 3 sideboard sealed is crazy. For like get into Magic, build a deck from scratch. You're timed. Go.
Yeah,
compete.
At least they don't make you register anymore.
Oh my God, could you imagine?
Welcome to Magic. Fill out this paperwork. Don't get it wrong.
It's the worst part about sealed RCQs is the fucking hour-long data entry segment.
Yeah, you sit there and watch your opponent open packs.
Yeah, it's such a nightmare to go to a sealed. Like, I don't mind O2ing any RCQ except sealed RCQs. O2ing a sealed RCQ feels like I should have just jumped in a river. Like I should have done anything. I should have ran into traffic. I should have done anything else with my time other than write down 70 cards, watch someone open 70 cards, and then lose, be gone.
The bright side to that is that you could also just O1 drop.
I guess.
You don't have to O2. You just O1, get out of there.
I guess you could, but what if you're still live?
You could 1-0 get out of there.
You could, but then that's really crazy because then I could have just bought 6 packs for less.
That's a great idea. You're getting better ideas, Niall.
There we go. Buying 6 packs does not often lead to the Pro Tour.
Let's be real, that sealed RCQ really doesn't either.
It's a step.
Well, I guess you have 2 of those coming up. So
yeah, I am going to play in 2 sealed RCQs this weekend. They're both 2 slaughters. That's 4 slots. I'm sorry for Mitzi putting her head against the mic. I'm not going to stop her.
Never apologize for Mitzi.
Yeah.
It's strange to me because like basically every RCQ I play in is a 2 slaughter.
That's crazy. There are so I'm driving to Seattle from Portland for these 2 RCQs. The reason why I'm doing that is because there are no RCQs in Portland until like September. Do you want to know why?
Why?
You want to know why this pisses me off so fucking bad? Literally, it's because Spider-Man.
Because they wanted to release?
Well, because
first?
Stores are only allowed so many RCQs. And the Spider-Man release is within this RCQ season's window. So instead of hosting an Edge of Eternity's sealed RCQ, they're going to just wait and do Spider-Man sealed RCQs.
Huh. I wonder if that's what's happening around me too, because it's like the same kind of thing, but like I don't know if the stores around here are that. I don't know.
It's
like
crazy.
Fancy.
I just for like 2 weeks I've been telling people I'm going to go play a standard RCQ on the 2nd because I knew that's when they started, and I'm so used to Denver. I'm so used to Denver grinder culture where it's like, I promise you there's one in Denver this weekend. You know, I didn't even have to think about it. I was just like, obviously there will be one. And then earlier in the week, I start like looking for like, all right, where's it going to be? Nowhere's the answer. And then I found the 2 in Seattle that are back-to-back 2-slot sealed RCQs. And I was like, I'm ready to make some bad decisions.
It sounds like a great decision. It sounds like you have the fire. I support this.
Great. I like sealed a lot. I love draft. I like this format quite a bit. Like I like Edge of Eternities quite a bit. So
I opened one
I'm
sealed
into it.
deck, played 0 games, and then I built you 10 standard decks.
You did. They look fucking sick. I'm excited about them.
And then she goes off to play sealed.
If there was a standard RCQ, I'd be playing a standard RCQ, Jerry.
No, it's cool. I'm useless. That's fine.
I would love to play a standard RCQ this weekend.
I'll keep building decks. Don't worry.
There is one next weekend though, and I will be using a little Jerry technology.
All right.
But anyways, back to the matter at hand. Pre-release, my favorite event. I love it. Love interfacing with new players. Love just the energy, the vibe of pre-release. I love pre-release. It's my favorite event. So I go to 2 of these over the weekend. One on Friday, one on Saturday. Also, the one on Saturday happened to be in Seattle. Unrelated. The Friday one, which was near me, I met up with a coworker there. He and I both played. At no point did we queue into each other. It was a full it was like a 64 person, like they sold out pre-release. It was awesome. I played 3 different people. The last person I played, this was kind of fun. The last person's name was River. And I was like, my name means river. And they were like, wow. And I don't think they thought that was as exciting as I thought it was.
Yeah.
I played against someone who was a Pauper freak. And I told them about how I fucking hate Pauper. And they were like, when did you last play Pauper? And I was like, all right, it's been a few years. And they were like, it's better now. Which sounds like some Pauper player cope to me. But it is like, it is pretty like low barrier to entry for me to like find out for myself. So I will be finding that out soon. Cool. But Pauper players, beware. If I try your fucking format again and it still sucks, you're going to hear about it.
Y'all, she said some really mean things about my favorite casual format, Legacy. And it's still stinging. So just be Legacy. Ready. Be ready. Legacy. The Tear Factory is about to turn on.
Oh, but anyways, I opened my cards, and as is sort of common with all of the different Edge of Eternity sealed that I've played, I was like, well, black is very strong. Well, blue is very strong. These colors are very strong, and it's kind of hard for me to not just build black and blue decks almost every time. I'm always also like trying, especially at pre-release, to be like, what else could I make? But it's always just like, well, these cards are fucked up. Like, well, they put a lot of card draw in blue. They put a fuck ton of removal in black.
The sealed I opened, I think I played 6 white cards. The rest were black cards. So
yeah.
I think you're on.
So I built a blue-black deck, and then I was like, this is kind of boring. Like, this will win. This will 3-0. but I've done this like 5 times already because I've already played a lot of Edge of Eternity's Sealed for like ambassador reasons. So instead, I decided to build a Mardu deck to have a little fun with it. Still 3-0'd. Still 3-0'd. The black cards are just crazy. The black cards are crazy. Had a fun time. Me and my coworker both 3-0'd. Never played against each other. It was a good night. The Saturday pre-release, I opened my pool. Wouldn't you know it? The black cards are strong. The blue cards are strong. And I'm just like, well, here we go again. You know? This time I make like a Grixis kind of thing. I've got the fucked up sliver card. That's Horn of Gondor for Edge of Eternities. The one that makes 2 slivers every turn, and all of your slivers have double strike and haste.
Horn
of Gondor? You know Horn of Gondor? Oh my god. Okay, someone didn't play Lord of the Rings Limited.
I certainly did not.
That's like maybe my favorite limited set of all time, first of all.
That's like my least favorite Universes Beyond of all time. So I try to stay far away from that as possible.
It is such a good limited set. So Lord of the Rings Limited was very, very fun, except for Horn of Gondor existed, which was this like 2 mana artifact where you pay 2 and tap it, and you make a 1/1 soldier, and then like double the number of 1/1 soldiers you have, or something like that. So it's like this really fucked up, like all on its own win condition that can go into any deck. It was a card that, like, if you had played a lot of Lord of the Rings Limited, you would always like draft a card that's like, and just in case they have Horn of Gondor, I'm gonna take this artifact removal. That's kind of how I feel about the Sliver Hive or whatever the fuck it's called in Edge of Eternities, where it's just like, well, if I stick this onto the board, I win the game. You know, like I'm just making 2 double striking motherfuckers every turn. It's whatever. So I put that in my deck, and I sit down in my first round, play against this guy who's like clearly knows what he's doing, but is also like fairly inexperienced in the game. And our first game takes about 20 minutes, mostly because it's pre-release vibes. You know, it's casual. We're chatting. We're having a good time. He's making hella mistakes that I am like helping him through, letting him do takesies, backsies, you know, that kind of thing. He just is clearly new. Like he's doing things like he's got the fucking, what's it called? He's got the blue mythic station land that can like tap to add mana for every artifact.
Yep.
And he spends a lot of turns just stationing it when it's like you've got like 2 artifacts. You know, like this isn't even gonna like help you. You know, like just swing with these creatures. But whatever. You know, like we play. He gets me like down to like 1 life. But then I resolve the sliver thing, and then it's just like over. Takes a long time. It's a grindy game. I just grind him into dust with the slivers eventually, and that's game. And then as we are getting ready for game 2, he is talking with his friend who shows up to the table because his friend got done with his match because our first game took so long. And he's telling his friend about the game, and as he's describing the actions of the game, he just like repeatedly hems the shit out of me, just like over and over. You know, he's describing the game and he's like, and then he got the sliver card down and all this stuff. And this is certainly not the first time this has happened to me, but it is a thing of like anywhere in public, not just Magic stuff, anywhere in public, it's very rare that I get misgendered, which I understand is like passing privilege, whatever. I get it. But because it's rare, it always like really catches me off guard and disarms me when it does happen. And it's so much worse in like this exact situation because I met with many options, none of them good. So option 1, and I think this is going to be the option that a lot of people who don't get it are going to be like, why didn't you just do this? And that is, I can correct him. I can just in the moment be like, hey, actually, she, her. I'll tell you why I don't go with option 1 almost ever, and why I didn't go with option 1 in this moment. And that is because there's an energy exchange that occurs anytime this happens. Okay, so like someone misgenders me, immediately I have to like take out the scales in my mind and weigh these different options and determine how much energy does it take to just continue getting misgendered by this person versus how much energy does it take to correct them versus how much energy does it take to simply get the fuck away from them forever. You know, that's kind of it. And you know, these things all are very context dependent. You know, it's a thing of like, if it's a coworker, then the third option of just leaving forever, that's a pretty high energy cost because I'm going to have to quit my job. And that's like intense. The second option of, you know, the energy cost of correcting them, it's always high. It's never zero. Like it is a very draining experience to have to like correct someone on this and go through that whole fucking thing with them. But the energy cost of not correcting like a coworker is extremely high because I am going to continue seeing them day after day. So even if like the energy is lower to just like deal with it for a little bit, if I have to deal with it for a couple of years, that's like so much worse than just correcting them. So in that situation, I'll just correct them. But if I'm not going to see you ever again 20 minutes from now, then the energy cost of correcting you is probably higher than the energy cost of just tanking it for a little bit. Now, if you're sitting here thinking, wow, that sounds like a lot of fucking strenuous mental labor and kind of exhausting, congratulations, you're right. It is. Welcome to the trans experience. It sucks. It's made even worse, however, when it's at a magic event, and especially a magic event that is my favorite magic event, because now we're between games. So there's this added level to the energy calculus of, okay, so if I leave, which is very easy at pre-release, right? Like I can just be like, all right, I'm done with this match and walk away. But then I give this person who's just misgendered me a win. And I hate that. So like there's now this like new energy tax on that, where for the rest of the night, I'm like, and they got a win in round 1 when they shouldn't have, you know? And like, I don't, you know, wins don't matter at pre-release unless I'm fucking mad at you. And then all of a sudden they matter. Also, there's this new part of the equation where how much is just this having occurred at all going to impact my ability to even enjoy the event for the rest of the night. And like all of these things so heavily skew the scales that it becomes just like impossible to calculate in the moment. And it becomes impossible to figure out what the right course of action is. What I decided to do was just lock in, no longer have a fun, jovial, takes these backsies time with this guy. Instead, just play like it's a fucking tournament, get these games over as fast as possible. So I do. Game 2, I keep a hand that's like 2 great cards, the sliver card, 4 lands. I literally only draw lands for like 7 turns in a row. So I just like pretty quickly scoop. And I'm like, whatever. I can beat him faster in a third game than I can beat him from this game. So I scoop game 2. We shuffle up. He's clearly like clocked that I am upset because like he's just like playing a different person than he was in the first game. You know, like he's playing an entirely different opponent. But I think he thinks I am upset.
This one in his mind has the correct pronouns.
Yeah. He's like, I was playing a very jovial man, but now I'm playing some bitch, and I don't know what her problem is. You know, but like, I think
I don't like you, therefore, yeah, it makes sense. That
you're a woman.
Yeah.
I think he thought I was upset about how much time we had left, because we were kind of pushing up against the clock. Like at the start of game 3, we had like 10 minutes left. And he made some comment where he was like, at the end of game 2, he was like, well, this is better for our time problem. And I was like, I think this makes our time problem significantly worse.
Yeah.
We have to play a third game. Like, what are you talking about? And he was like, oh yeah, that's a good point. So we go to game 3. I'm on the play. I just fucking obliterate him. This game takes like 2 minutes long, you know? And I am just like, I'm not speaking unless I have to the whole time. And then we finish. I pack up my shit. I leave. And then I tell my friend Katie, who I was with, that this occurred. And she was like, well, if you just want to like dip from here, that's fine. Like, I'll dip with you. And I was like, I don't know. Like, we've still got a bit of time in the round, and it's pre-release. So, you know, add like fucking 20 minutes to each round. I'm just going to like chill outside for a bit, collect myself, and see what the vibes are in round 2. I also kind of needed to go to a department store, which was closing in like half an hour. And so I was like, if the vibes are not good in round 2, I'm just going to drop early and go to this department store. And she was like, okay, well, tell me if you do, and I will as well. So I sit down for round 2 against my opponent, who is a perfectly nice person. And I realize almost immediately that I'm like, oh, I am having a very bad time, actually. I am a miserable Magic opponent right now, and I should not be playing this round. But I'm already in the round. So we play a game. I beat him pretty quickly. And then he starts shuffling up and is like, I'll be on the play for this one. And I was like, I'm just going to concede.
Yeah.
And he was like,
don't bother.
Yeah. He was like, what do you mean? And I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. I have to go. I'm just going to concede the round to you 2-0. Sorry, you know? And he's very, very confused, naturally, you know, because he just got like bodied round 1 or like game 1. And then his opponent was like, yeah, just kidding. You got it.
Yeah.
You know,
up a game 1-0.
Yeah.
And you're like, nah, I'm leaving.
It's a very strange thing. But I'm just like, yeah, sorry. You know, good luck in the rest of them. And he just sits there kind of dumbfounded. And then I get up and I go to Katie and I'm like, hey, I finished. I beat my opponent and then I dropped. So I'm leaving. And she was like, okay, cool. I'm going to finish this game and then I will catch up with you. And I was like, okay. So then I start driving to the department store and Katie calls me like 5 minutes in and was like, hey, I beat my opponent and then also conceded. And I was like, wow, the power. We both won our first rounds, beat our opponent, said, you can have it. And then left.
I love that.
Yeah, that was great. But it fucked my whole night up. Not just like the Magic event, but just like my whole fucking night. It was just wrecked. And you know, it sucks for a lot of reasons. One reason is I really don't think this guy did this like maliciously, you know? Like, I don't think he sat there, figured out what my pronouns were, and then decided to use something else.
Yeah.
I think he just defaulted, and that like kind of made it worse, you know? Like, I sat there after he did it. I looked down at my modest unnaturals and I was just like, it didn't even give you pause. Like, nothing about the way that I have presented or acted with you, like none of it even like made you like second guess, you know? Like, none of it even got you to like they them territory, you know? Like,
I guess I'm kind of wondering, like, was this a person who was like very clearly avoiding eye contact, that kind of thing?
No, we were very engaged with each other the whole time.
Then I got nothing for you.
That's why, like, it's just so like there's this struggle that I face as a trans person, where when I first started transitioning, I spent a lot of time trying to fulfill somebody else's idea of what a woman is. You know, I dressed a very specific way. I wore makeup constantly. You know, like I was really trying to like flesh out the general societal definition of woman. And I did, like, I succeeded in that, but I never really felt correct in it, you know?
Yep.
And as I got deeper and further along into my transition, I started to build confidence. And I am at the point now where I feel very comfortable and very confident presenting how I present, dressing how I dress, almost never wearing makeup, which I like wearing makeup. I think it's fun. I think it's fun to do. I just think it's like a sometimes snack for me, you know? And now I mean, generally speaking, I'd say I dress very dykey. You know, like I'd say I dress in such a way that if you saw me, you'd be like, yeah, that's a queer woman who lives in Portland. You know, like I think that's just, you know, what I am. But because of that, a lot of the times how I'm dressing and how I'm presenting, I know gives off and reads more like androgynous than it does like, this is exactly what I expect a woman to look like. And so there is this struggle of when I dress how I feel most comfortable and like how I want to, and when I present how I want to, I get mistaken as like a non-binary person. And that annoys the shit out of me. I understand it. I get where it comes from. It doesn't like getting he-hemmed by this guy was like a fucking gut shot. And that is not how getting they-themmed by people feels. Getting they-themmed feels more like kind of hopelessly annoying, you know? Like it's just a little bit like, sucks, you know? But like I also like get where it comes from, and I don't want to be like, we should erase non-binary people so I get she heard more, you know, like there's no recourse for it. And if anything, I'm like, you know what, non-binary people, I'm glad you guys get this W of more people defaulting to they them or whatever. And it's a lot easier. The energy cost of correcting someone they theming me is lower than the energy cost of correcting someone he hemming me, you know? So it's like, it's fine. It's a little annoying, but it's fine.
I feel like if someone they thems you in your presence, like as this person did to their friend, then at least that shows like some understanding or like some care towards, you know, what your identity is.
Yeah.
And I don't know, at that point they could just ask. Yeah. Right. Like I feel like at any point, if you are not sure and you don't want to misgender someone, that is just the easiest way to go about things.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's crazy to me because I think it's so easy, but I also understand that I am like, you know, much deeper in it than most people. But yeah, it sucked for the obvious reasons. And then it also sucked because it's like, it's just this reminder of like, oh yeah, if I want to be myself, then like this shit is like more prevalent and more common. Whereas, you know, the fucked up thing is that when I am presenting the way people expect, you know, like when I am presenting the way I did in my earlier transition days, it does work, right? Like if I had like fucking fully manicured nails, a full face of makeup, and I was like in a dress, this dude wasn't gonna he him me, you know. But because I was in like a t-shirt and no makeup, he's just like, that's a boy. That's a boy if I've ever seen one. And that sucks.
The whole like just concept of gender being a social construct in general, people have some, I don't know, preconceived notion of what, you know, being male or being female or whatever should look like. And it's just like, clearly that's not the case.
Yeah, no, it's a spectrum. But I think the thing that really struck me was that, like, when stuff like this happens, it's just so hard to properly place my emotions because I'm such an angry bitch. You know, like, I'm such a mad person. And side note, I really like being an angry bitch. I like truly hold this I cherish this about myself, which might sound insane. But for many years, for most of my life until very recently, I had no access to anger as an emotion. Couldn't get there if I needed to, if I wanted to, if someone deserved it. This was inaccessible to me for reasons that are related to lots and lots of trauma that I'm not going to get into. But suffice to say, I was not an angry bitch. I could not be an angry bitch. Even when like someone needed to receive anger, couldn't do it. And then through lots and 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 lots of therapy, I got to the point where I could finally access this emotion that I'd never accessed, like a fish to water, me and anger. You know, like, it's because I've talked to other people. Lost time. Yeah. I've talked to other people who had a similar experience, and they're like, oh, when I first, you know, unlocked the ability to be angry, I like really got too angry for a while and like couldn't control it or wield it properly. Unaffected by this. As soon as I opened the door in my heart to anger, it was just like, oh, I know how to wield this. I know how to wield this flawlessly. I know when to use it. I know how intensely to use it. I know when not to use it. Like a fish to water. Like a fish. I'm a natural born angry bitch. I love it. But I really love being angry because, I don't know, it feels like a thing that I had to work hard to become. And righteous anger feels awesome. If you've never been mad about a thing that you should be mad at, holy shit, it's so good, dude. It feels awesome.
More people should be mad at shit.
More people should be mad at shit. It feels amazing.
I definitely think that, and it is one of the better motivators, I think. But yeah, it needs to be controlled, and I feel like you probably do a good job with that. Like, I've not seen anything or heard anything that would make me think otherwise, you know?
No, I'm furious. I'm an angry bitch, but only where
like,
I should.
You could afford to lash out more, in my opinion.
Probably. But I think part of like not being angry at all for like 3 decades just makes it to where, like, I don't know. It's just not my like go-to response. I have to like kind of calculate my way into anger. I have to like think about it and be like, yes, I will pick up the sword that is anger for this. You know, like, it's not like an immediate thing. But anyways, I, on the one hand, feel very, very angry at this guy. But I also feel like that is an inappropriate direction to direct my anger, you know? Because, like, again, I would venture to guess that if this guy talked about me at all after pre-release, it was certainly not I think I accidentally misgendered somebody. It was certainly just I played against some dude round 1 who, like, we were having a really good time, and then suddenly we were not. and I don't understand why. Like, I think if anything, he's talking about how fucking confused he is that I became such a bitch on a dime.
But
Like,
that kind of makes it worse to me though. So like, why not be mad at that person? Where do you direct this anger instead?
well, that's the thing is like, I really just think he doesn't realize what he did. And I don't know like how much I can even like get mad at him for that, because like I chose not to expend the energy to correct him, right? Like I
Yeah,
chose not to inform him of what he did. I
but
chose to just beat him in
not
magic and leave.
not everything should be on you to expend energy to handle, right? Like,
I
in order
agree.
for this person to be like functioning in a society, they have to like put forth some energy and do some work themselves, And
I
so
agree.
they're ignorant, but like they're willfully ignorant, right? Like they're opting into not even like taking notice of like, oh, hey, yeah, you might have different pronouns or whatever, like at that point you can just ask.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely like 100,000 things they could have seen and picked up on. Even just my name, like I get that, like Nile, one very unique name. So I think people, especially in the U.S., don't know how to gender it. But two, in the places where it's more common, particularly, well, in the predominantly English speaking places where it's more common, it's traditionally a more like masculine name. Like it's a name for boys. It comes from my great grandpa. Like that's why my parents gave me this name. Like it is a family name, but it is a family name from my great grandfather. But then like in less predominantly English speaking parts of the world, common name, or at least less uncommon of a name, that is almost exclusively for women. You know, I had this really cool experience at MagicCon Chicago last year where I would keep getting into Ubers. I had to do so many fucking Ubers at this MagicCon. And in like 3 different Ubers that I got into, the person driving was Indian, and they would be like, is it pronounced Nile or Nile? And I'd be like, Nile. And they'd be like, there's a lot of people where I'm from with that name, and it means like a beautiful blue flower. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. Thank you. I loved that. Uh, but anyways, unique name, hard to gender if you are a person who lives here. But also on the companion app, when you queue into me, is my middle name, which is Joan. And I've never met a boy with Joan anywhere in their name.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. There are just so many things that this person would just have to be completely aloof about. And
yeah,
don't get me wrong, I've met several people like that, especially ones that play Magic. You're also talking about how this person's like making a bunch of silly mistakes or whatever too.
yeah,
So that kind of plays into it. But it's just like, come on, bro. There's so many things that you should at least stop and think. Not
yeah,
maybe not default or whatever, but just be like, oh, am I getting this right?
yeah. No, and I think
You're in
I think
Seattle.
that is also part of it. As I'm like,
Ah!
I thought I was in the cool cities, like I've uprooted my life multiple times to get to the cool cities, that are cool about this stuff. But whatever.
Slightly cooler, actually.
Slightly. That's the trick. That's the ticket.
Mm.
But like it's just I guess hearing you spell it out like that does make me feel a little more correct in feeling angry at this guy. It's definitely like it was hard for me to accept being angry at him when I was like, well, I think he's just dumb. You know, like I think he's just like ignorant and stupid. But hearing you say like that, it's like, oh, both can be true. Like he can be dumb and I can be mad at him.
Oh yeah, no, because he is choosing to remain ignorant every day, and that kind of ties into what I was talking about earlier, where I think more people should be mad about shit. And this is how I feel about a lot of people in the Magic community, especially the people who were formerly my peers, like the Pro Tour players, where it's like they just did not give a shit about stuff like this to the point where, you know, like it would show up and they would just cover their ears and la la la, you know. And at what point does that border on into malicious? You know, like you can certainly have that debate, but like I still feel like it's completely justified to be mad at these people for not giving a shit. So
yeah. Well, it fucked my night right up. It honestly kind of fucked my next day up for a while. It took a lot the next day for me to kind of like get out of it, because really like the end result of it is like it just kind of like, you know, earlier when I talked about how like I feel very good and comfortable presenting how I present and dressing how I dress, it just like shatters that. Like it just shatters that confidence. And then I'm like, I'm so like in my head. And then I'm like, you know, for the first like hour and a half of being at this baby shower, I'm like on edge. Like, is someone that I meet here gonna he him me? Did I not dress femininely enough? Do I need to do? But no, of course, everyone at the baby shower was chill. No one struggled at all to understand who or what I was. You know, like it was. It just immediately goes back to like, oh, this doesn't really like happen that much. You know, like it's fine. Which is like this extra layer of like all this stuff being fucked up, which is because I do have this like passing privilege, and because this is like kind of a rare thing to happen to me, it always makes me feel a little bad that it affects me so heavily when I'm like, I know tons of trans women that this happens to much more frequently, and they handle it way better than I do, you know? And I think part of why they handle it better than me is because it happens to them more. And they like are more practiced at dealing with it. But it makes me feel like this weird guilt, you know, like this weird, like I should not get to feel bad about this because other people experience it more, which I know is dumb. And I know it's like not how this shit works. Like I get that it's like not a zero sum game, but it's like it is a factor that I feel in these moments.
So I was catching up with a friend of mine a while ago, and he started with a very innocuous question, which was like, how are you doing? And not gonna lie, so I told him, you know, like we have a relationship where we actually just do talk about things. And it was a lot of bad stuff, honestly. It wasn't like, you know, I was going to lose my place of residence or whatever, you know, like I wasn't going to be homeless. I was still like technically alive, reasonably healthy, but it was just like stuff was going really bad compared to like the last time I talked to him, you know? And he listened to all of it. And at the end of it, he was like, well, you know, like things are so much bad everywhere else in the world that, you know, you should feel lucky.
What the hell?
And I didn't like that very much, you know?
Yeah. That's crazy.
He was like, hey, I want to like listen to your stuff. And I told him, and then it was just very invalidating and reductive about my stuff. And that's kind of how I feel like you're being to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, first of all, that's an insane reaction to hearing your friend's troubles.
He and I had to talk about it. It took me a while to figure out how to broach the subject or whatever, but we did talk about it and it was good. Everything's good.
That's good. That's good. That's great.
It was a weird kind of like out of character moment. But
yeah. I think a lot of people are like very fix it motivated or like make it better, you know? And so their automatic response to anything is like, here's a solution or here's how to soften this blow. And a lot of times that's just not what people are looking for.
I have tried to start doing this. I don't do it all the time, but yeah, when something like that happens, it's like, are you looking for advice or comfort kind of thing? And it's like, comfort, man, that sucks. Advice, like my brain's already going. Like I'm a solver, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, that was my default for a while, but it turns out people don't want that a lot of the time. Sometimes they just want to vent.
Yeah. Yeah. I try very hard whenever friends vent to me to be like, wow, that sucks. I'm really sorry. Are you looking for advice? Are you wanting potential solutions to this? Or are you just wanting to bitch? Because if you just want to bitch, I will gladly just hear you bitch and sympathize. Yeah. Yep. And a lot of times they hadn't even thought about it until I asked. Like a lot of times they hadn't even considered what they wanted from telling me. And then they go, I think I just want to bitch. I'm like, great. That sucks. You know, like,
yeah,
sure. You know, like it easy.
Kind of similarly to asking someone their pronouns is like, you could just ask them what they want out of the conversation, you know?
And it's awesome. It makes conversations so much better because if someone doesn't want advice and they don't even know that they don't want advice and you just start giving advice, there's like this really weird tension that occurs.
Oh,
that like
they hate you.
Yeah. Where like they are like fighting against your advice, but they have not yet come to the realization that it's because they just don't want it. You know? So like even if your advice is correct, they're like trying to find a way to make it wrong. It's weird. So it saves you both a lot of energy if you just get them to think about it and for them to say, oh, I don't actually want anything. I just want to get this out. It's like, okay, cool.
I have realized that people that really frustrate me are those that have these problems that are easily fixable and are constant issues, but they just willingly choose to not do anything about it.
Yeah.
And every time they're like, I don't want advice.
Yeah. I think it's different if someone has like come to me with the same thing over and over. After a while, I'll probably just be like, hey, I'm sorry that this keeps happening. But it's kind of like taking a lot out of me to keep just like hearing your vents and sympathizing. When you get to the point where you're ready to hear advice on this and you're ready to like take actions to make this not happen, let me know. But until then, like you got to find someone else to bitch to about this. But that is a rare occurrence. Now the thing I'm really worried about, because, you know, I got over this. It sucked. And it really sucked that it ruined my favorite Magic event. And it really sucked that I feel so positive I was going to 3-0 again. You know?
You were. We all know.
I would have 3-0'd. I would have 3-0'd Jerry. But what is really kind of in my head right now is I turned my AC off because I got too cold, and now I got too hot like immediately. I'm turning it back on. What's really in my head is I'm going to these 2 sealed RCQs this weekend. And what do I do if it happens there? You know?
Do you have homies going with you?
No. I'm going solo. I mean, I think because of what I have spent my entire life doing for the last 3 years, it's almost a 0% chance that I don't run into homies at this event. You know, like I don't know if there'll be homies, but I know that I have a myriad of homies in the Seattle area who are comp grinders. And I think it's just highly likely one of them will be there. In fact, maybe I should message them. I'm going to message one right now. You guess who I'm going to message? Oh my God. It's actually crazy that you're here while I'm doing this.
Who are you?
Do you remember that girl that we commentated who was the Yogg player?
Jennifer.
That's right. Yeah. She lives in the Seattle area. Yeah, she's a comp grinder. I'm gonna see what she's doing. Hello, friend. I'm doing it literally right now.
Good.
Are you perchance gonna be doing either of the Laughing Dragon sealed RCQs this weekend?
I feel like she qualified for some stuff. I don't know which PT or PTs it was.
Yeah, she's definitely qualified for. Well, actually, I'm not positive. I know for a fact her boyfriend is Pro Tour qualified.
I thought she was too. I've been.
She
off
might
internet,
be.
but
I don't know. She's typing. But anyways,
quick response.
oh, she said Luke and I should be at both.
Let's go.
Hell yeah. Me too. Green heart.
See, this is the only thing that makes these events palatable for me is when there are homies going to be there. Like, I lived in Richmond for 3 years before I'd ever gone to a local store because I just assumed I wasn't going to know anyone.
That's crazy that you assumed you wouldn't know anyone. To be honest,
I wouldn't know anyone that I liked.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's tougher.
I would definitely know some of the people.
Yeah. But yeah, so yes, there will be some homies.
Anyway, I don't know. I mean, you could maybe ask the homies if you'd be okay with this and they'd be okay with this, that if they are like in earshot of when this happens, like I imagine it costs them less energy to correct a misgendering that is not targeted at them.
Yes. This is in general a good job for friends and allies, just like across the board, is to be like, if you hear someone misgender somebody, you correct them. You should find out with the person that you're doing this for if they want it at all, if they want to be around when it happens, these sorts of things,
and in like what kind of way you do it.
Yeah.
Also, probably
all of that stuff you should figure out. But it is it's a lot easier to correct somebody else than to correct for yourself. That's true. That's real. But the problem, I think, is, okay, so let's say it's the exact same situation, right? Let's say it's round one, but like after game one, it's still gonna like affect me, and it's, like, even if Jennifer is like right there, and even if Jennifer like says some shit on my behalf, I still have to be able to play 1 to 2 more games of Magic for stakes, for like a thing that I drove 3 hours to do.
Yeah. So if it were me, if I were sitting next to you and this happened and we had this conversation and you're like, hey, if this happens, please correct them, but don't make a big deal of it. Don't be like accusatory towards them or whatever. Like, don't make things hostile. And I just like lean over and I'm just like, hey, actually, pronouns are these or whatever. And I think their reaction tells you a lot. And it could certainly serve to make things worse. Definitely.
I think this is a good time to... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think most people like get really defensive when they get called out. If I'm like,
oh, totally.
Hey, you messed this up. They're going to be like, oh my God, my bad. I'm sorry.
That's a big part of the energy calculus on correcting somebody, is having to deal with their overreaction to being corrected. Even if it's an overreaction in a positive way, of like, oh my God, I'm so, like having to hear someone be like, I'm so sorry. And that kind of shit. Like, if I get someone's pronouns wrong, like if it's, I don't know, a fellow tran or like whatever. If I get someone's pronouns wrong and they're like, hey, it's actually this, I just go, okay, got it. Or, possibly like, oh, okay, sorry, got it. Like I try to make it as small of a thing as possible. And internally, I'm probably feeling like, oh, fuck. I feel so bad, but part of properly handling that is accepting that I'm going to feel that way. Part of me making it better for them is I take that feeling and I hold it to myself. And I don't try to do anything that makes it to where they relieve that feeling from me.
Yeah, that's accepting responsibility.
Yeah. And that's the part that I think a lot of people struggle with. Now, a good thing I think to bring up when talking about this, because I know people are going to mention it in the comments, and I think it's just unhelpful. Technically, yes, it is against tournament rules for somebody to misgender somebody. Now, that being said, it's like when we're talking about the energy calculus of these things, it is just the greatest amount of energy you could ever imagine to A, correct somebody, B, call a judge to have a spectacle made of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Bring the judge over, explain what has occurred. And it's not like I'm going to be like, my opponent misgendered me, and my judge is going to be like, okay, they're DQ'd.
Yeah.
It's going to be a thing of like, they're going to need to observe this occurring, like they're going to need to observe. And so now I also have to, like, this person has to want to do that badly enough to do it again in front of a judge, knowing they're going to get game losses for it, or possibly DQ'd for it. And they're unlikely to do that. So now, like, I've done this huge fucking spectacle. I've brought all these other people into it for nothing, for no reason, to accomplish no thing. So there's almost a 0% chance I'm ever going to call a judge on misgendering. The only time I ever would is if, like, someone misgendered me, I decided I had the energy to correct them, I corrected them, and then they did it again, and then I, like, corrected. Like, they would have to repeatedly do it and, like, be very clearly doing it intentionally, and then I would call a judge. But at that point, my whole tournament's probably over anyway, and I'm probably just hoping you get DQ'd because I'm fucking pissed at you. Like, at that point, there's almost no shot I am continuing in this event, because someone has just sat there and, like, very obviously, like, in a targeted manner, fucking attacked me. I'm not going to be like, more magic, please.
Hell
like,
yeah, that's what I want to do.
At that point, I'm like checkmated. The only out that I have is I beat you and then I drop the tournament in front of you. Like, that's the only way I'm going to feel any positive emotion.
Or you take them with you. You get them DQ'd. And
yeah. I get them DQ'd and then I drop. Either of these would feel pretty awesome. But
I think calling a judge at a pre-release does accomplish one thing, though.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it so that everyone in the room thinks that you are a giant bitch. Like, that is that is it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you just burn to the ground any sort of, like, community goodwill you have by like trying to get someone DQ'd from a pre-release.
Right. But I think for the RCQs, and this is an idea that I just came up with while we were talking, so you can tell me what you think in real time. What if this occurs at the RCQs, I just accept going into it that if it happens, I need to correct the person. Like, I pre-jack the calculus in my head. And I just say, if someone misgenders me at this tournament, I'm going to correct them. And then I'm going to correct them. And then as soon as I do, I'm also going to call a judge, not to be like, see if they misgender me again, but I'm going to call a judge to just be like, hey, can I take a break? Like, can I go to the bathroom? Can I go whatever? And then I am going to go there and I'm going to mentally reset while I'm not on the clock.
I like that.
And I'm going to gather myself, and I will have corrected them. So hopefully it won't happen again. And hopefully I won't be, like, so fucking in my head that I'm, like, playing like I'm in my head, and hopefully be able to continue with the tournament that I drove 3 hours to participate in.
I do like that. And I think it's just a good point in general. Like, no matter which way you decide to handle the situation, either if you are going to correct them or you're not going to correct them, I think just prepare for it and make that decision beforehand so that you're not kind of like caught off guard in the moment and thinking about like, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? Or whatever. Just like, no, this is how you've decided to handle it. And it shouldn't take more energy from you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I do think just like kind of predetermining how I'm going to do it does help, because then I don't have to like figure anything out at the moment. I just know like, okay, if this happens, this is what I have accepted is my course of action. You know, it's like, these are the things that I'm doing. I think that just also changes the whole energy equation. Because I've like front loaded some of that energy into just like accepting it ahead of time.
And a shitty thing to have to prepare for, of course, but
yeah, for sure. But you know, it has happened to me at tournaments before, and I know it makes me play worse. You know, like if I'm unprepared for it, I know. And oh man, it feels so much worse when it happens and you get so in your head and then you lose to the person who misgendered you. Oh boy, that is brutal. That is brutal.
Obviously I am not dealing with the same thing that you're describing, but I do know the feeling that you're describing, where it's like when I play against someone I hate and that happens, like I do not tilt very easily or whatever, but if I lose to someone who I hate and it's for good reason, you know, like I hate them for good reason. It's not petty out of spite or whatever, because that's kind of whatever. You know, it's like, oh, you're annoying and I lost to you. Who cares? But I know that feeling exactly. It is like the only thing that can tilt me, really.
Losing to a piece of shit sucks so bad. Oh, it sucks so bad.
It's like, I had to sit there with this person for 50 whatever minutes, and then I lost to, at the end of it, I lost to this person.
Yeah, they're going to advance in the tournament. This piece of shit's going to advance in the tournament. Ugh. But yeah, so that's my plan. That's what I'm going to do. And people will hear how it went next week.
Send me your sealed pools.
Oh, I will. I will be taking pictures of my sealed pools, and I'll send you a picture of my draft deck from top 8.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, Jerry. Even when I win the first one, I can still double queue.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Because before it used to be like, oh, you win one, you're done with the season or whatever. But no, you actually want to get 2 invites. So you better send me a picture of 2 draft decks.
That's right. I'm going to send you 2 sealed pools, 2 draft decks. That's my goal for the weekend.
Easy game.
They should make a hard mode. Actually, this will certainly be the hard mode. Seattle's got some killers for sure. I mean, fucking Jennifer and Luke are gonna be 2 of the killers in the room that I've confirmed are there.
But they're friendly killers.
They're friendly killers, and I love friendly killers.
Yeah, those are
also sealed is kind of my jam, you know. And I've been playing Edge of Eternity sealed longer than any of them.
Which may or may not help, you know.
I don't think it's helpful. I have not been playing against opponents that I think are going to be beneficial.
It came out on Arena, and then, you know, some people have played.
Like I'm sure they've all played more than me. Yeah. I think they've all probably played more. I need to actually get on my sealed grind before this weekend. I need to start digesting some 17 lands data. I need to do all that shit.
Be careful with the 17 land stuff, please.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's a little scuffed.
Really?
We can talk about it later.
Okay.
Later. I've talked about it on another podcast. It's not really the
Sure. Well, pause, Warriors. don't think mommy forgot to activate you this episode,
I was waiting.
because here we are. Go ahead and let us know down below how you deal with getting tilted at Magic events. And if you would like to hear more about Jerry's opinions on 17 lands data, let us know now in the comments, Pause Warriors. Welcome back, Pause Warriors. And I think now we're ready for the final segment of our episode,
The best
aka
segment.
the Briar segment. We've got a decent number of questions that have come in since the last episode, which is funny because the mailbag episode has not come out yet.
I know. I wasn't going to say anything. You spoiled it.
Yeah. Well, it's not really spoiled because by the time they hear this,
I guess by the time this comes out, it has come out.
Yeah. So here is. Wait. Maybe I don't have a Briar.
You lied to me?
Wait. I feel like maybe Briar put it as a YouTube comment this time. Hold on. Listen, it's fine if we have plenty of questions. If there is a Briar, obviously
I'm not worried about if we have a question. I'm worried about if we have a Briar question. Big difference.
I don't think we do have a Briar question. Which is fine.
God, why'd I even wake up from my nap?
What's
the point?
I know. No, we can't make Briar feel bad for not sitting in questions.
No, it's not Briar's fault.
Yeah. Okay, so let's read a different question. You know what, Jerry? This one's perfect. This one's perfect for you because of what you were crying about earlier.
What was I crying about
here's a question from
is it
Mitchell.
about Legacy?
As a competitive player, I have enjoyed Standard and Modern for the last few seasons, but my heart lies in casting Brainstorms, Ponders, and Force of Will. My question is, do you think it would be possible for Legacy to return as a main WotC-supported format? If so, what do you think it would take from the community or Wizards themselves for that to be the case?
Snow Underground Sea.
Snow Underground Sea. Oh. Why Snow Underground Sea?
Like the reserve list just kills it because the more popular the format gets, the more inaccessible it gets. And then presumably the more it like recedes. So this is like Curse problem territory, you know? Like you need to fix this in order for you to be able to grow Legacy.
Right, but they can't
or trickle down some funds to all the people who are willing to play Legacy so that we're rich enough to be able to buy dual lands.
Yeah.
It's one of the two, and I know you're not doing that one.
Right. Or you have to like ban stuff, which makes it not really Legacy anymore. Or you have to print things that are so effectively the reserve list cards that they, make the reserve list cards useless, which is,
Well, they're still not going to be useless, and I don't know, for things like Commander or whatever, it's like, well, now they get 2 Underground Seas. I don't think that's going to make the price of Underground Sea go down.
But if they made Snow Underground Sea, don't you think a lot of Legacy decks would just be like, all right, so you need 4 Underground Seas and 4 Snow Underground Seas?
No, because I don't even want to play 8 fetchable dual lands.
All right, fair.
All right. Yeah, Legacy decks are kind of expensive. Dimir is like 4,000. The mono red Stompy deck. Mono red Stompy, the like no thinking deck of the format is $3,000. Jesus. A lot of that is tied up in like City of Traders,
Yeah.
It's like a Mystic Forge combo deck, same kind of deal. 5,000 lands, 8,000. Doomsday, 5K. Like there are decks that are cheaper. Like Oops is under 1,000, but on the front page of Goldfish, that is literally the only deck.
Yeah. Yikes.
That is a problem.
Yeah, these are all problems. Or it would have to be a thing where, and I don't see this happening, they permit X amount of like checklist card proxies in sanctioned legacy events.
I think it would be way easier and way better for them to just make Snow Underground Sea. Because this sets a bad precedent.
Yeah. You know, at that pre-release event, before the event, I signed what is probably forever going to be the craziest fucking thing anyone's ever asked me to sign, which was an Underground Sea.
Who and why?
A listener, an enjoyer of this here podcast, who actually I have talked about this particular Underground Sea. Yes, ma'am. This particular Underground Sea on the podcast before, many moons ago, where is this person known for a bit. Their name on the internet is Merfolk Sovereign. And they let me borrow an Underground Sea for a legacy event in Seattle like a year and a half ago. Actually, forget I set a date. Maybe like 6 months ago. I don't fucking remember.
What is some time?
Some amount of time ago. But anyway, they let me borrow this Underground Sea. And I think it's like an Italian Underground Sea. Because they had two. They had like an English one and an Italian one. They're like, which one do you want? And I was like, this one's probably worth less money. So
Mark Sotarano or something?
Yeah,
Italian.
Yeah. All right, hell yeah. But yeah, so they were like, which one do you want to borrow? And I was like, well, this one's probably cheaper, even if marginally. So I'll borrow this one. And then they ended up leaving the event kind of early, and I wasn't able to like sync up with them to get them the Underground Sea. So then this thing was in my possession for like 6 months.
And the whole Underground Sea.
No, the whole time I was so stressed out. Like I was just like,
okay, I remember this now.
I don't want to damage somebody's Underground Sea and owe them an Underground Sea or Underground Sea money. And so I saw them at this event and they were like, hey, would you sign something for me? And I was like, yeah, of course, I'll sign whatever. Actually, there's one card I won't sign, which I'll mention in a second. But I was like, yeah, of course, I'll sign whatever. And they were like, they pull out their deck box and they were like, you actually already know this card. And as soon as I said that, I was like, oh, fuck. I know exactly what's coming.
You spent months not wanting to damage this card.
Yeah. I spent so long being like, I don't want to damage this card. And then they were like, damage it. Damage it.
Do it. Do it.
Yeah. And I did. And it made me want to throw up. It made me feel so physically ill. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, if they're going to have it forever, then...
Sure. It's cool. I get it. I'm happy to do it. But it did make me want... Just because I was like... haven't signed anything in like a month, you know? I haven't like needed to use my signature in a while. Can I still do it? You know, like, am I gonna fuck it up on this Underground Sea?
Oh, that'd be
awkward. And I didn't. I kind of nailed it, to be honest. I kind of nailed it.
Hell yeah.
I really locked in. I like held my breath like I was like a fucking military sniper. Yeah. Yeah. It was, but anyway, the card I won't sign, the one Magic card that I will not sign. Well, there's probably a handful of cards. No, I would sign as many Nile Spellbombs as you would like. There's probably like a decent number of cards I would never sign. You know, like I'm not gonna sign Therese Nielsen, Force of Wills. Actually, maybe that'd be so funny. Maybe that'd be okay. I changed my mind. I changed my mind. If you bring me your Force of Wills, your turf of wills, I will sign them and I will take the energy away. That's actually so funny. Please, I beg you, let me sign your Therese Nielsen cards.
Sign over the box, sign over her name.
The card I won't sign is any Alicia card. Like the Who Smiles at Death.
I think it's Alesha.
Is it Alesha?
I think so.
Whatever. Well, this actually really serves my point, which is I have no connection to this card. I have zero connection to this card. I didn't even know how to say her name right. The only connection I have is that we're both trans. And I just feel very strange signing a card where like that is like our sole connection is like she's trans, I'm trans. And I'm like, I've never cast this once, like I've never had this in my hand, like I don't.
She's trans, you're trans, you're basically the same person, right?
Yeah, we're the same. Yeah,
that's clearly all that matters about you as a human being.
Yeah. I've only ever been asked to sign it once, and someone was like, would you sign this? And I was like, and it was like they pointed at it in their like binder of cards they were getting signed, and I was like, what else do you have in here? And then they like showed me something else, and I was like, oh, I like this one, can I sign that? And they were like, sure. And I was like, great.
That's better.
And then after that I started to be a little bit more vocal about I don't want to sign this card. Just makes me feel weird. Yep. I get why someone would do it. Someone recently in my Discord was like, would you sign a card for me? And I was like, anything but Alesha. And they want me to sign Otherworldly Gaze, which I was like, all right, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good one. But yeah, anything but Alesha. But please bring me your Therese Nielsen's, please. That's so funny. Oh,
and then you can auction them, or they can auction them.
Yeah. Well, Jer Bear, this has been, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling like our 22th episode.
Oh, good one.
Thank you. Pillock's gonna love it. All right. Bye, everybody. Love you. Bye. Bye.